Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at PrizePicks. Every day we make decisions, but on PrizePicks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss the excitement of football this season with PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. With PrizePicks, it's a lot of fun because it's a simple way to add more excitement to football. You just pick more or less on player projections, like Josh Allen's passing yards or Saquon Barkley rushing for a score, and you're in the game. So if you want to do PrizePicks with the tight end for your favorite team because you think everybody's overlooking him, go over on his yards. Go over on Saquon Barkley, maybe with rushing touchdowns or whatever else you want. Again, it's just over under. It's really easy. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONCollege for $50 in lineups after you use your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It is good to be right. All right, we have to discuss a little portal and a little recruiting. This is the Portal Podcast, after all. You guys hit with the portal this year, Mateer, obviously. Just out of curiosity, take John out of the equation. Who is the second best portal addition for OU right now to this point in the season?
Tate Sandell, the kicker. I mean, he's been really good, but I think Kendall Daniels, the cheetah linebacker, has been really, really good. He's had some up and down moments here in recent weeks, but overall, I think he's performed really, really well. You could look at any of the offensive linemen. I think there's a good, strong second tier of guys. Oh no, what am I even talking about? Isaiah Satania. It's easily Isaiah Satania. What am I talking about, Jay? Why didn't you interrupt me? Come on,
because I was hoping you was gonna pick one person instead of going through everybody.
I'm sorry, I just couldn't help myself. It's Isaiah Satania. The dude's leading the team in receiving yards. He's been electric on punt returns. Isaiah Satania. Go, Jay, your turn.
Yeah, I was gonna actually echo that. Isaiah Satania or Tate Sandell. I mean, Sandell walked out there, kicked those 3 field goals, and you feel good about that, specifically because one, Oklahoma's had some struggles in the kicking game over the last couple of years, especially since the last part of the Riley regime into the Brent Venables era. You've had some struggles there, but you're in the SEC now, and this is a conference where field goals are going to matter. Those kicks are going to be critical for wins and losses, especially as things get tighter. You're going to be playing a bunch of ranked teams going forward. And so Tate Sandell to me is one of the bigger pickups, but it has to be Isaiah Satania outside of John Mateer. That dude walked out there and kind of took the wide receiver 1 spot. And I think the best part about him is coming back from injury. He was dealing with a little something in camp. He is basically leveraging the attention that Deion Burks is getting, and now Jerry Kanik is getting as well as he switched positions. He's leveraging their attention, and he's getting open. He's making big plays. That's probably the biggest pickup we have besides him, and then of course Jake Michael at defensive at the center position.
Okay, so you guys, I would say that Mateer is as impactful a transfer as there is in the country this year. Mm-hmm. After this season, give me the 2 positions that are not just important, but we got to fill it. We have to hit if we're going to be good again in 2026.
Oh, man.
I'm going to go right tackle.
Okay.
I don't know where they go. Left tackle is Michael Fasusi. You feel good about the future there. Your guard situation, I think you feel pretty solid about. Right tackle, I think you can still look to improve on that spot, unless you just feel like one of these true freshmen that's coming in is going to be able to have a Michael Fasusi-like impact. But I don't think you can bank on that. I think you've got to go into the portal and make sure you find a not just a serviceable right tackle or a solid right tackle, but a legit SEC offensive tackle.
Yeah, I'd say probably a guard would be mine, because if things work out the way that you hope they will, you'll either see Isaiah Dent or Michael Fogier possibly at that right tackle spot with Fasusi at the left. That's potential. But John is right. That's those 2, to me, right guard and right tackle are the 2 spots I have the biggest questions on. Eddie Pierre-Louis should be playing more left guard going into next season once he really, because his biggest thing is he needs to clean up some stuff. More so, he's got a mean streak on the run blocking, but on the pass blocking, he has a tendency of kind of teetering and missing some of his assignments. And so once he gets better at that, I think he'll be good. But I think that right side, just the entire right side, right guard, right tackle, once we figure out who's what, that to me is probably going to be the most critical spot. Actually, let me add one more, center too, because Michael will be back next year. So far, but that's a potential spot because Troy Everett will be gone because he's a senior. So they're unfortunate he won't be back and his red shirt's gone unless he gets a medical, but I doubt he does. You're going to have to be center to right. So the entire right side of the field is on the offensive line is going to be something that we're going to be monitoring like crazy. So you may bring in a portal guy just to add depth on possibly both, but we'll see if Beatonbow likes his guys more or not.
I think an under the radar potential addition that they could look at is either defensive tackle or defensive end. You're going to lose, R. Mason Thomas and Marvin Jones Jr. after this year. You're going to lose Grayson Halton and Dominic Williams after this year.
Yeah, it's true.
And so like you love your depth and you love the talent you've got with obviously David Stone and Jaden Jackson and Taylor Wine and PJ Adebaware. You love all of those guys, but do you love the guys behind them enough or love the rotation enough to not go into the portal? So if they found a big time defensive tackle that they wanted to say, hey, come play with us for a couple of years in this rotation with Jaden Jackson and David Stone, and you're going to be able to produce. Yeah, we're going to play 4 guys, but you're going to be able to produce because we've got some dudes on defensive line. So I think those could be some under the radar places that they look to add maybe another veteran, some guy with experience to add to that rotation. Because I mean, you're great with Jaden Jackson and David Stone as it is, but what do you got coming up behind that? Do you feel comfortable enough with that rotation as it is?
I got to ask this, and I know this will make Jay very, very concerned. Mateer's going to be gone after this year. Do you feel good enough about Hawkins? I'm just saying, like, if he does it, I don't know. I don't know if does he have another year technically?
Yeah, he's got one more
year. He's only redshirt junior.
It's hard to say what guys going to the draft because quarterbacks are so overdrafted. Oftentimes they leave because even if they shouldn't, they'll go late first round, early second. It's ridiculous, but it's a guaranteed payday. I get it. If he leaves, do they have to hit the portal?
That's a good question. And the answer to that's going to be really the development of Michael Hawkins along with Jet New behind him and with Newbar behind him. And then you're bringing in Bo Bentley, So you're bringing in a top 100 recruit that kind of reminds you of John Mateer in his game, in the way he plays. Yeah. So you might get lucky there to where the players around will develop well enough to where you don't have to play him or he walks in and takes the job. I'm not sure, but that is a very good question. The other thing too is, as John mentioned, there is a chance that Mateer could decide to come back for one more year. The defense will probably be at its peak because the secondary should be at its strongest next season. You'll have Bowen coming back most likely. You have both Bowens. You'll have a free safety who's going to most likely be either Michael Boganowski or Reggie Powers starting at the free. And then you'll have Cortland Guillory who's been developing like crazy at the other corner. So and then linebackers, Kip and Kobe can come back one more year. Mm-hmm. You've got a lot of opportunity where you may have the most stacked defense with development possible that could lead you to a second chance at pushing for a playoff berth or even for a title. So Mateer could look at that and say, I kind of want to come back and play in all of that because Giovanni Gibson will be back at receiver. You've got so many pieces that could help with that. So, but the question's going to be, what does Michael Hawkins look like after this season? And then, of course, what does Bo Bentley do when he come in?
Yeah, I think if Mateer doesn't come back, I almost feel like they've got to go find some competition for Michael Hawkins Jr. Just from what we've seen so far. It's not to say that he couldn't go take the job, but you might want to find a veteran quarterback that fits the system, that has some upside to him, that can either push Michael Hawkins Jr. or at least is a serviceable option for you as you continue to develop those guys.
I think that's fair. Here's the wild card for every team in this boat. This isn't just an Oklahoma problem. Barring something changing, but with the court system, anything's possible. There's no spring window.
Right.
So you don't get to see Michael in spring. So as the saying goes, you have to plan for the worst and pray for the best.
Yep.
And that means you got to go out and spend. Here's the problem. Everybody's in the same boat. Can you imagine what the quarterback market is going to be like for anybody that thinks they can make a playoff run? They're going to be quarterbacks to make $2 million that have no chance of freaking starting.
Yeah.
So what does a top 4 quarterback make? Because Miami's going to be in the market again. Like, they got about the deepest pockets outside of Oregon in the sport, et cetera. Like, it screws it up because Oregon and Miami set the table and then it screws it for everybody else.
Yeah.
So
I was going to say, like with Miami, like you said, they're definitely going to be in the market, because it doesn't seem like they actually recruit quarterbacks or something like that. It seems like they like to just go for a veteran and plug them in and say, go run things and make it happen. And that can be a successful setup. I guess the big question for me is going to be, what does Ben Arbuckle feel like he needs in order to be successful going forward? Truth be told, the way that these games are going for some of these coaches, Arbuckle's name's going to keep popping up in head coaching jobs. And if a really good one populates, he could end up taking it. If it's a really good one, like I think he'll take the Brent Venables approach up. I'm not going to take just any job to be a head coach. I'm only 29. I'm going to be smart. They're paying me a lot of money here to do one side of the ball and get really good at refining it. Let me wait and see if there's a job that I have an actual chance at being successful at before I take it. So I don't see him taking anything, but there are going to be potentially some bigger jobs that could open because success hasn't been hitting the way it should have been.
Yeah, don't take the Arkansas State job.
No.
Resist.
Don't take Oklahoma State. Don't take.
Yeah, don't go somewhere you can't recruit. You got to go somewhere where recruiting is natural. That's
exactly.
Yeah, because he's going to have success eventually down the road. There's no hurry. He's so young. He's got plenty of time to go be a head coach somewhere. And I do think it's going to be a really fascinating quarterback market this offseason because there are going to be a number of really intriguing names available, like Austin Simmons. Could Nico Yamaliava get back into the portal? What about that Western Carolina quarterback who just seems to light up the record books all of a sudden, Taron Dickens? Like, there's going to be a lot of intriguing names that people are going to definitely throw some money around at. And so I think Oklahoma could very well be in the market, or they could just say, hey, look, we like the development that Michael Hawkins has achieved at this point. And they just put all their eggs in that basket. I don't know. We'll see, man.
Last question. You guys are sitting around 19 commitments, I believe. Only 2 offensive linemen. There's a kid at Omaha North I think they're involved with. There's probably – or not Omaha, but Norman North. They need to get at least 3 linemen in every class like everybody. So I know they need that. But where else do they need to hit before this class concludes in early December?
To me, they need to go ahead and pull the trigger on another running back. Unless they decide to go to the portal and get a back. Like if we're talking about who will be a good portal addition, honestly, running back is probably one that we're not talking about enough. I mean, Ott is a senior. You'll have a true freshman, Torrey Blaylock, but you're going to need some additional bodies to go with it, with Xavier Robinson as well as Taylor Tatum dealing with injuries. You're going to have to make sure you have additional bodies out there just in case. Javante Barnes will be gone as well because he is a senior. So to me, for Oklahoma, they're probably going to need to go grab another running back. Zephyr Walker is a good pickup. I like his game, but you're going to need to add another back to go along with what you're doing. Like this is the class you're probably going to need 2. And just like you mentioned, you're going to need probably 1 more, if not 2 offensive linemen. Now with that makes me think that they're probably going to shop in the portal more because it feels like if they don't feel it as they feel the recruits that they really want, and then they kind of piece in the transfers they need, which has probably been the best way to approach the portal, which I appreciate that this staff has done. Because if you really look at it, the only spot where we have a lot of transfers playing right now is at center. Offensive line and wide receiver. That's really where you got the most. You've got 1 like additional player on the defensive line. Well, 2. You've got 1 linebacker that you've added in there. And now all your corners and secondaries, all your guys, they've done a good job of just piecemealing where they need it. So you got your quarterback, you got a few offensive linemen. It feels like offense is a little bit easier, but I think that's probably the approach they're going to take.
Yeah, they're using the portal to address the needs. They're using their recruiting classes to really build the foundation of this program. And a running back to keep an eye on is Caden Jones, the Oklahoma legacy. That'd be one that I would really like them to circle back on. I know that I'm not sure exactly what the relationship is like there right now, but that was somebody that they were communicating with at one point in time, and he committed to Oklahoma State, decommitted from the Cowboys after Mike Gundy got fired. I think his big playability would be something to reconsider for Oklahoma.
That's fair. If Oklahoma wins this game, I guarantee you they'll get a recruiting bump. As somebody that follows recruiting religiously, that's something I'm steadfast with. Gentlemen, I appreciate you joining in. It's always fun talking Sooner football. Good luck in the Red River rivalry. And, hopefully Mateer gets to play, but if he doesn't, again, I still got the Sooners winning 24-17. But John, tell everybody where they can find your work. Same with you, Jay.
Yeah, so you can subscribe to Locked On Sooners wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on all platforms and on YouTube. So hit the subscribe button, the notification bell to let you know when new episodes drop. And follow Jay at Unfair Sports, me at John9Williams, and our show is at Locked On Sooners.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. You can find my show wherever you get your podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and everywhere else. Thank you very much. Everybody have a good one.
Boomer Sooner.
Texas sucks.